Right. How y'all doing? Welcome to Rant and Rave in America here, folks. Nice day outside. Wish that could be said for the rest of fucking life. It's all not that fucking gorgeous. On the plus side, though, I got my brother here with me. How you doing today, bro? Pops?
Pretty good. And you know, it is a good day outside, but thank goodness we're not in Russia.
No shit. No fucking shit. We're on the verge of what? You really think World War III is on the verge?
It could be.
Or is Russia propaganda TV just that?
It's just a bunch of bullshit. He's just trying to do shit that don't make sense, and he's got the Hitler complex. And there could be a World War III, but a lot of them are supporting the U.S., and he's going to lose if it comes to that.
And he's wanting to take on NATO. Is he that ballsy?
He is, but he's going to lose, and you know, it's hilarious. It is. I mean, I'll be, oh, it can't be that way. Bullshit. You can't be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for you folks who actually take Putin seriously, fucking really don't.
And why do you think all the Russians are leaving there? And there's Russians that live in this country, have been here, you know, and then they got kids and grandkids that are American citizens. They left there for a fucking reason. You know what I mean? And
right.
They're not even proud to be Russian. You know, like, yeah, this is our country, this is our homeland, but the things ain't going on. I've been in a Target in Springfield, and there's a couple of Russians that work at Jacksonville Walmart, and they're like, we're so ashamed to be Russian right now. You know, they don't condone it. It's like, fuck, come on now. You know, and it's just like, that's their heritage. You know, they grew up there first few years of their lives, and then they moved here, and it's like, they just have their hands, you know, it's.
Yeah, aren't we heading down the same road?
Who?
The U.S. I really see us heading down the same road, though.
Yeah, we are. Now, if I was black, I'd say I was proud.
Dude,
and I'm sorry people take offense.
That was coming.
But it's, you know.
We are back in the 1700s again.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to tell people this, and this happened to me. My girlfriend lives here, and I come visit. But over the 4th of July weekend and stuff, they have a celebration there. It's a little old hometown, and everybody's honest with each other. If you walked away and you had $500 on the bar table or a restaurant, and you're drinking with your significant other or whatever, and you walked away, everything will be there when you come back. There's sometimes you can't even do that no more. But anyway, I was going to my campground in Jacksonville, and AC Humco people said, what the fuck's that? They used to make salad dressing. They're closed up, and somebody else bought it, but he had sold parcels to that ground. But there's a concrete plant there, and there are 2 black guys backed up to the gate. Now, I thought that was kind of suspicious on a Sunday. So, when I went up to the stoplight, I turned around and come by the fucking security shack. They was hooking up a $4,000 to $5,000 welder and generator. They cut the lock and everything else and drove off with it. And they said, well, people may say, well, how do you know it's stolen? How do you know they don't work for them? It's a Sunday. They could have got it during the week. I mean, they cut the lock with bolt cutters. I had video and I showed it to the police. They couldn't do nothing on Sunday, and they didn't want to deal with that at the time because they're black. With everything going on with the black community, they didn't want to do that until the next day. Well, now they're both in jail, facing prison time for grand theft. And then the black guys, both of them said, well, we got farm ground on the other side of Waverly. Bullshit they do. They don't farm. They don't have no expertise or anything in that field. Come to find out they stole it because the people in Macomb owned that concrete plant, and they came down and had all the proper paperwork to prove that was theirs.
How stupid can you be in shit? Because why? Just because they didn't want to deal with it, or
they didn't want to deal with it at that time because it was a Sunday, and I get that. But also with all the conflicts that the police are having with the black community, and the other way around, at the time, that day, and the time of day it was in the evening, between 5 and 7. They didn't want to deal with it at that time. They wanted to get confirmation. A friend of mine that's the chief of police over at Waverly happened to be at the convenience store in the next town over when I went by. He said, we'll get this straightened out tomorrow. And they did. This wasn't the holiday weekend, this was a week ago. So then they found out what happened, and they got everything straightened out, and now they're both in jail. Everybody says, well, no, white people do that too. Yes, they do. But on the other hand, I don't condone stealing, thieving, doing any of that. But white people get away with that more than black people because they're smarter than a black person. Because I don't know if they're high on dope or.
I'm glad you said it because I was going to bring it up.
But I'm just saying, yeah, there's white people getting in trouble for the same thing. Just as the black people do. And I'm going to say this, people are like, oh, well, how come there's more black people getting shot and all this and they run away? Because they ain't fucking smart, the ones that are doing this shit. The white guy, he know he did something wrong. He's outside the car, not in handcuffs yet. He may go 100 foot, but the cop says stop and everything else. They're down their kneel, hands up. The black guy or woman, well, fuck, keep going.
And then turn around and try to act like he's pulling for a weapon.
Exactly. And I know, like with me, if I did something like that, and I was thinking about running, and the cop knows when somebody's getting ready to run. Or like if you're not a cop, get somebody's getting ready to run or whatever. He says, don't even think about it, and you're just getting ready to, it's like, well, Jesus, I know if I run, I'm going to get fucking shot. I may not die, but I'm going to get shot.
Right.
Simple, easy, cheesy, Japanesey.
I was talking to my friends. They live out there in the suburbs there in Akron, and they were wondering what are we going to do? The entire two blocks in that suburb. Like, what can we do to protect ourselves? We're pretty sure this could become a Black Lives Matter thing, and they're going to start invading our properties. What can we do? The thing is, what really can you do? I mean, you can arm yourself, yeah, but then you're going to put yourself in a bad light via the media view. Because they're going to stand up to black folk.
But it's just, this world has gotten so fucked up. And, it's just like Juneteenth. It was for the blacks, the black community, mostly. 85% according to the statistics. 80 to 85% was for the blacks. Yes, so they did that. But it wasn't like that when they first started. And if people want to be this way, that's fine. I accept it, but I have a hard time in that belief. But the queers and the lesbians, or gays and lesbians, they live. So that's what Juneteenth was for. And then the blacks said, well, we got to share this whole. And then now it's, oh, well, why should they get this day and not us? So they pretty much gave it to the blacks. And they said, well, we don't get nothing. They got more rights than I do. And my life is different from this gentleman's and other people out there. Everybody's situation is different. But let me tell you, I worked hard for what I got. And I sweat to death on cold days, hot days, medium days, and all that. But yet, when I go to do something or whatever, I don't have a right. But the black guy behind me, he'll get all that. And it's like, what the fuck? And they mean that worked a day in their life.
And it's really not even just the blacks. That's even the white people. The younger generation of the white folk.
There's
they're that way too. It's fucking entitlement bullshit.
There's a woman that lives in my hometown. And yeah, she was going with a black guy. That's her preference. Be with a black guy, whatever. That's her deal. And they had a kid together, and now he's left her. And so he don't pay for shit, and he owes so much money to her. That's not right. But of course, she lives off the government. She lives off me paying taxes and everything else. And I can understand people that, in the situation they have, they can't help that. So they have to depend on it. But the people that figure it out, and well, geez, I could do the same. That's not right, because you're taking from other people. And they say, well, white and blacks, and like Mexicans when they're here, or that are up here, they do the same. I'm like, son of a bitch. There's the guys that put up my building. It was an 80 by 120. them Mexicans worked their ass off. They're legal U.S. citizens. They went about it the right way. But on the other hand, they get $3 to $4 grand a month working, but then they still get link, free medical. No, see, that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
If I was making $3 to $4 grand a month as a white man to go apply for what they did, I wouldn't get it. And that's
I'm making
bullshit.
around $1,400 before taxes, and my shit's got cut.
But I'm just saying, it's bullshit. But there's people that depend on that and that can't work or that have issues or whatever on their situation, and people say, "Oh, well, they're all right. They get the yeah," but they not getting their maximum because there's some fucking jerk off that think he deserves it more than they do, and that's not the way it should be. But it is, and Republican or Democrat, every president's been like that.
Just about. You know I got sniffed.
Don't be laughing at Trump.
You know I got sniffed my boy. Just about every president.
See, Trump, he's done better than what fucking Biden's doing, way better.
Oh, yeah.
And before even Trump was in office, you know, but the Bushes and then Reagan. Hell, Reagan did better than Clinton when Clinton was in office. And Clinton, yeah, he did some other stuff to make it better on top of that. But
I'm glad you brought Clinton up because I get a lot of flack for this, and I say Clinton did a good job.
That's because you fucked his wife. But go ahead.
Damn, that's why that growth was there. Anyway, no, I would say Clinton did an alright job, and that's with the economy. As far as that goes, his domestic policy sucked. His foreign policy fucking sucked. I mean, hell, let's look at his fucking trade deals within the whole NAFTA agreement. That was a bombshell. I mean, he did great for the economy, and that was all he did. Well, and of course, to all of us other men that, you know, fuck, love to get a blowjob as a president. Fucking A, hell
he
yeah,
did
right.
good for the economy, but he also, when he was doing that, he didn't look after the benefits for other people. He's doing good for the economy. And that was good. It could have increased, but he had several drawbacks for that. So.
And I think the part of the reason the economy did really good, it was over the NAFTA deal. Right off the bat, yeah, it did great, but you look at the long term of the downfalls from it.
You had 3 groups in that, almost 4 groups. And with the stats, he took care of this, and it got better. But he didn't take care of 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. He took care of this, some of 2, but not a lot.
Right.
And it got better. But then, you know, yeah, and then like with Bush Jr. that got in after, yeah, he fucked up something and all that shit. But also, it wasn't his fault because what Clinton set up, that's why there was a recession. With these groups, and they're like, well, that's why there's a recession. With Biden, this recession shit's coming now. He fucked everything up that preceded him. Trump, everything before him. So he fucking threw everything out the goddamn window.
Biden was handed a country that was ready to go.
But he
the
fucked it up.
economy was booming. Other than, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in one of my videos, I think it was before my 4th of July video. Recession would have hit a bit. Inflation would have gone up a bit. Yes, but if Trump was in office right now, he would have still ran the country like he was before. And that is as a business, and we would be making money right now. Inflation would have hit, but I don't think it'd be hitting this hard.
No, it's.
We
bad.
probably would have saw maybe a 2% increase in inflation.
But like people that live in this community in Taylorville, and it's like with a lot of communities, they have a Walmart or whatever, and I went to Walmart in Taylorville and I got this, but I was looking for this. They were out and whatever, so they went to Springfield and they found it at all Walmarts had the benefit and they had everything. Yeah, one Walmart may have something a little bit different, and you had to go across town or whatever else, or 40 miles down the road. Now it's all fucked up, and so when you go in there to look for it, well, they don't have it. It's because Biden fucked shit up, and it's out on a fucking boat. It's out on a fucking boat. And yeah, they'll get it, but then when they get it into the Walmart here in town, the shit they got on that truck may not make it in Taylorville Walmart because it's supposed to go to Springfield.
Well, here's the thing, too, that you guys need to think about as well. Most of the stuff sitting out there that you're going to get on your shelves, it was probably sitting up there out at sea for the past month. Now think about your expiration dates. Ooh. Technical difficulties there, people. Technical difficulties. We're good. All right, how y'all doing? All right.
Yeah, see what happens when we get flustered? You fuck
I
everything
got you. We're
up.
going to take a minute here, guys. Just get everything set back up there. Cord fell. Yanked everything sideways. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, folks.
Sorry
we
about
are
that.
back.
We had having the cord and everything started to fall, and I tried to catch it, so I will take the blame. But anyway, we're talking about the Walmart and the stocks and everything on chips. But, you know, the COVID-19, everything hit. But, you know, shit like that's happened here in the United States. Just go back 100 years, 200 years up to present. There's been diseases like the bird flu here, and it's just,
H1N1.
yep. And, you know, you can name them, and it's here. There's going to be stuff like this. That's like here in Illinois. And like now, the state of Illinois, if a death happens from COVID or a strain of it, the state can't get. They can still apply for a grant for that death to do research, but they're not getting as much as they was. They get, and then every state, like, see, if I went and died, and I could die of the flu or something happened, you know, or bronchitis or something, and I didn't have COVID, but they could blame that on COVID.
Right, as long as you have the strain.
Yeah, or whatever.
That's still going on.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it's
they're
nice
not.
that there's a cutback there now.
Yeah, so, and that's just like, you know, I can understand people with, they're a married couple and had kids, whatever, they work from home and now they can go back to work, they want to be at home. But people were not, at the time, they were offered it, but they weren't offered it. You know what I mean? So if you want to work, you want to do it or not, and so forth. And okay, fine, you know, you work your normal hours, but then when you work from home, here's a drawback, because my sister-in-law worked for the state, and she works from home. She worked at the office there in Springfield, but now she works from home. Well, it took close to 10 months when I was informed yesterday. But when you do that, it's a drawback in your pay and your benefits and everything. So she struggled with them. Like, what the hell? You know, I'm still the same person. I'm just doing it from home. That's not a drawback from work from home. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. But whoever you work for, if it's a state or some health system or whatever, that's a drawback. You have to fight with them and get something worked out. But like 10 months with the state. Oh, well, you know. But everything's straightened out now.
And I bet that was about $150 loss on the check.
No, she was losing close to $400 on that
400?
check. And she took a little hit on her health insurance and stuff. So, and it's like, what the hell? You know, you offered it, so that it's a drawback. I mean, there's positives.
So corporations really are pushing for the work from home. They really want you to be back in the office.
No, I mean, they want you to be in the office because they think you're going to be more productive. Well, if you're in the office or at your home, you're doing the same amount of work.
Right.
I have a friend of mine.
Well, so you hope anyway. Again, they can't
A friend of mine, his wife works for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And she works from home. She's been working from home before the COVID hit. But she said, if I'm working from home, she says, I'm going to get the same as home as me being in the office.
Which that would make sense.
Yes. So then they said, well, so they threw a big fit. Well, she says, I'm going to give you an ultimatum. You either want me, and she does good what she does. But she said, I'm quitting. You're going to give me the same what I'm getting when I'm working in the office.
Okay,
And
makes sense.
and Blue Cross, that's one of them in that situation, like she said. And she said Blue Cross would have lost a lot of money because she would have sued them. And there's people like that, if you're white or black, whatever, have that right and have that stuff when you go to work for them is in writing. You sign it when you work for them. And if you go to home to work, that stuff is still in writing, but then they throw a fit. You know, that's just like with Springfield Clinic with Blue Cross Blue Shield, same thing. That's why it's just like, it's all about money, folks. Money does turn the world around. And
Yes, it is. And right now, Blue Cross Blue Shield, if I'm not mistaken, just lost a bunch of that fucking dough, didn't they?
yeah, they lost a
Over
lot.
there
They
cutting
lost.
out doctors out of certain areas.
But like with me, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield. And this come from me. Mine was through my pension in the federal government because I'm retired from military. So I get the same as Blue Cross Blue Shield when I was with them. But when I switched to my new insurance company, I get close to 7.5% better with the other company than Blue Cross when they with Springfield Clinic when they started withdrawing a lot of shit. And of course, I got VA and all that, so it's a lot better. Now that my situation is different from Joe Blow, But,
Right.
I mean,
Now, for some of those vets out there that are looking to make that change, would you be able to tell them what company you went to, or?
well, like 90% of mine's VA out of Quincy
Right.
and down south, but or over by Danville, and then Aetna and Humana picked up a lot of that. Now I can get Medicaid and Medicare, but for what they offer and what I would deal with, it's better for me to choose the other than Medicare and Medicaid right now. Now I can
Absolutely.
apply. I can apply for Medicaid and Medicare, and I could get it, but it wouldn't be worth it because they're not going to provide because I'm not over 60 years old yet. That's another 6 years away. So I have to wait until I'm 60 or 65 to get at least close to full or half.
Now, the thing is, see, I retired as well. I don't get all the benefits you do, though. I wish I could have, though. I tried. That's a little hard. Anyway, I'm working, and from my job, they go, "Did you sign on with our insurance?" I was like, "No, I didn't." They asked me why. I was like, "Because right now my insurance going through the federal government is a lot better than what you guys offer. A lot better. And not only is it a lot better, it'll cost me my taxes. Trust me, I'll pay out the ass on my taxes for it. But out of my taxes compared to what I would pay out of my check, it's cheaper to pay my taxes than pay almost $200 to my company for health insurance.
And that's just like any company you work for, like his. Every company is different. If you work for a restaurant chain in the restaurant field, whatever chain that is, fast food or steakhouse or whatever, every field which you go into is different. Me, before I went into the military, I was a farmer. And I'm a farmer now, and I'm retired from military. So it depends on, when your situation where you live and stuff, like, oh, well, my mom was a cook, my dad was a maintenance, or a janitor or whatever. So a lot of them kind of stick with that, but then also they may move something that's a combination of both, and then they stick with that. That's just like uh, Reynolds in Jacksonville. Hell of a good paying job. If you're the first generation in it, that's good. But their pay and health insurance is great. But y'all got, like I say, if you live in Taylorville, well, why would I want to drive out with the price of gas? You drive to Jacksonville, come back. Depends on what you're going to apply for in that type of factory work.
That's one thing, too, guys. Comment back. Let us know about that, by the way. Your travel to and from work, has that affected your jobs at all? I know a lot of people that's affected their jobs
That's
now.
like that, just like and see, like a lot of companies now, like it's just like, well, you do this you work for whatever, and a lot of them, if they drive 6 miles from or 8 miles from Toby to Taylorville, or if you go from Franklin, Jacksonville, that's 13 miles. Or if you go from Franklin to Springfield, that's 50 miles, or whatever. My dad's girlfriend, she lives in Waverly, and she drives to Springfield to work every day, back and forth every day.
That's a 30-minute trip right
Now
there.
that's close to 60 miles.
Well, 60,
where
sorry.
she lives at, in the country there, and has to go to Waverly, and then cut over, and then cut across, and go through, So the gas prices are really hurting a lot of people. Like her 3 kids are raised out of the house, but she has 2 of them going to college. So even though they got grants and stuff for college, she has to pay for that and everything else. So your bills and stuff. If you have kids that are out of the house, going to college or whatever, they're doing some kind of training or whatever. you know, there's shit out there for people to apply for that. The parents not benefit. They're benefiting from it because their kids getting an education. Their kids working. And then you hear people. I'm going to go off track here a little bit, but you hear about people bitching and complaining. Well, I can't find a job.
Oh, I'm so
I
tired of that
can't work.
rhetoric.
It's like you can't find a job with all the not. We're hiring signs or now hiring whatever. Well, I don't got experience. You know, they're gonna fucking train you. Pardon my language, but they're gonna train you to do this. And you know, and say, well, you've been there a year. You don't like this place, but you can move to somewhere else in that field and getting the same pay,
And
but you got experience. A friend of mine, his grandson, okay, had lawn mowing jobs and stuff, maintenance work and stuff like that. Now he's graduated high school this year. Well, like he said, and he has a welding certificate and degree, but it's like he wants to work. He does, but every time he goes to apply, and he's more than qualified at several places. This is a back draw too. Is like, well, you know, your age is going to be a factor. Even though you got the experience, that's a drawback.